Zohran Mamdani has just declared war on America. He's declared war on our way of life. He's declared war on our culture. He's declared war on our economic system. And he's declared war on our very existence. I'm Brandon Tucker. This is Defiant Brandon. Welcome back to Accountability. If you look around, this isn't just another political holiday weekend. This is an absolute civil war. On one side, you have President Donald Trump standing on the national stage. He's actually going to speak pretty soon, demanding border security, demanding industrial dominance, and unapologetically celebrating 250 years of American exceptionalism. On the other side, you have New York City Mayor, socialist, communist, aka Democratic Socialist, Zohran Mamdani, actively hijacking George Washington's actual historic desk to launch a bitter anti-American speech, or assault, as I like to call it, against the very men who founded this country that has given he and many others like him so much opportunity. You have two totally incompatible blueprints for America, for our future, and really for the world. At war for the minds, hearts, and souls of the American people. We are living in a moment where the greatest nation in human history is quite literally fighting for its life. We have political attacks, we have false flags, and we have agents who are facilitating both. Now, before we get fully into this, let me ask you to hit the like button as you come in. Let me ask you to subscribe and share this video with a friend. If you love what you've been hearing, subscribe to the channel. And lastly, I ask that you not only comment, take part in this discussion, but also that you contribute to this stream if you are in a position to do so. Right now, we have to talk about the battle where you have absolute losers and haters angrily declaring war upon American exceptionalism. We are the greatest country on earth, and it is absolutely disrespectful for people who have benefited from our greatness to sit at the desk of our own founding fathers and attempt to wag their finger at us and condemn us for being amazing. We all know that this is a grift. We all know that this is a false flag. The only sad thing is that there are Americans who are actually stupid enough to fall for it. Let's call it what it really is, y'all. What we are witnessing in cities like New York is not this democratic socialism that they keep saying it is. This is nothing but a false flag, a sanitized marketing rebrand for raw, unadulterated communism. These people are not socialist, they are communists, but there's actually a law against being a communist on the books in America, so they have to call it socialism. During his 250th year anniversary address, Zohran Mamdani couldn't even bring himself to celebrate our triumphs. He couldn't even bring himself to celebrate our founding fathers. He didn't celebrate the troops who died in battle forging this great country. And he damn sure didn't celebrate the people of all different races, colors, and creeds who are a part of the tapestry of this nation. That is because he doesn't care what we have built. That is because he literally wants to tear down everything we've built to build something that he believes is superior, something that will benefit him and his elitist friends and his compatriots from whatever Muslim country that he crawled out of to come into the United States. Instead of celebrating with us on the anniversary of our independence, he used our nation's milestones, the things that we had to overcome to become who we are, to trash us. As they say in my community, he started bringing up old shit. He started going in our closet trying to resurrect old skeletons in an attempt to gaslight and enrage people who, let's be real, just aren't really informed about the history of this nation. He demonized laws, demonized law enforcement, and attacked the very foundation of free market capitalism. It's so crazy to me how someone with parents who are multi-millionaires due to capitalism can come out and pretend to be against capitalism when capitalism has been paying their way this whole time. Zohran Mamdani has never, ever had a real job. He has never, ever punched a clock. He has never, ever stocked a shelf. He has never, ever balanced a checkbook. He's never reconciled a safe. He's never done the things that people like me and you do every single day, the things that people do to make America work. So of course he's not going to see the value in it. He's never done it. He doesn't see the usefulness of it because he's never been on the other side of the perspective, seeing what it means to have people in this country who are actually hardworking individuals who make up the tapestry that is America. The people that are the salt of the earth, the greatest people in the history of the world. He made a blatant toxic attack lined with blatant disrespect of traditional American values, delivered by someone who, guys, he is literally an establishment elite who wants you to apologize for your own American heritage while he slowly, systematically dismantles your sovereignty. Name one person you know that can go from never having a job to being the mayor of the largest city in America, the richest city in the world, by the age of 34 years old. Let's be real. Name one regular person you know who could go from never having a job, never even punching a clock, right into the political apparatus of the largest city on earth, the richest city on earth, the economic hub of America. At the very least, this person would say, you would say that this person had to have some very rich friends and he had to have some serious connections. As we get into this, you have people who are literally saying you are a traitor to your own kind. Zohran Mamdani's not black. He doesn't represent black people. He doesn't even care about black people. All he's ever done in New York at this point is raise the property taxes of the same black people who were stupid enough to vote for him. If you look at his speech that he gave, he had one overweight black woman and everybody else was Muslim. Nowhere near black. So how are you going to convince me that Zohran Mamdani somehow represents the interests of men and women like me who share our unique American experience? We built this fucking country. And if it's going to get torn down, it'll be us who tears it down, not some freaking goat herder who crawled up out of the caves in Uganda coming here trying to tell us that what we built ain't good enough because it ain't equitable enough because it won't let his brothers and cousins come from third world shitholes and steal our money through the welfare system. He doesn't get to do that. This is America, not wherever the fuck he came from. He couldn't even become mayor of a village. He couldn't even become chief of a village in Uganda because they have sense. So he just came over to America and used toxic empathy as a stepping stone for you guys to gain access to the upper echelon of the political apparatus. It's not going to happen. And you got black people who are too weak to tell the truth, right? Trying to attack a black man who actually has the balls to say what needs to be said about this dude. Black people are not socialists. We're not people sitting up asking for people to give us stuff for free. Socialism is how they tricked black people out of what we were already building, which was one of the greatest economies this world has ever seen. Back in the 1940s and the 1950s, an insulated economy that rivaled the economy of many of the first world countries in the world at that time. Yeah, they destroyed that with socialism. They destroyed that by giving our women handouts, food stamps, and bullshit. Section 8. They destroy you with socialism so you'll stop building. And if you stop building, you lose power. And if you lose power, you become second-class citizens. And then the immigrants that come into the country who still have a collective mindset, they're able to pass you up and hurtle over you because you're too focused on what the government's going to sprinkle down on you like manna from heaven, like you some type of Israelite roaming around in the damn wilderness. Our identity was stripped away from us. And you think it was stripped away in slavery? No, it was slipped away from you by people like Martin Luther King. People who told you that the epitome of black existence was to be accepted by white folks. I couldn't give a damn if a white person accepts me. I don't need to eat a sandwich next to a white person. I can respect a white person as another man or woman, an American, looking them straight in the eye, demanding and giving respect that it is demanded of and given to me. But this idea that someone owes me something for free, I know that nothing is free. In all my years that I've lived on this planet, I learned nothing is free. So if someone comes around telling you something is free, it's basically like if you go to jail and somebody leaves a candy bar in your bunk bed. You better not touch it because they definitely going to come asking for something later. Our founding fathers warned us about these exact type of people. People like Zohran Mamdani. Tyrants who try to micromanage your life in the name of the public good. Thomas Jefferson laid it down plain as day in 1801. We getting into history. He literally said, wise governments shall leave men otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. You know what that means? When you work for what you want, you get to decide what happens with what you reap, the things that you gain, the resources that you gain from that work. You got people in New York who are like, yeah, I want to go to work and let Zohran Mamdani decide what happens with my paycheck, as opposed to me deciding what happens to my paycheck. And I'm going to let him take my paycheck, all in the name of hurting rich people who will simply just leave the city the minute he begins to infringe upon their rights, and they're already doing it. Literally, that is the essence of what we call free enterprise. Benjamin Franklin took it even further than Thomas Jefferson. He said freedom is not a gift bestowed upon us by other men, but a right that belongs to us by the laws of God in nature. The word God literally anchors this entire experiment in liberty, right? God is fundamental to it. And the minute you allow blue-haired liberal freaks to separate you from God, You were ripe for the picking for grifters and con artists like Zohran Mamdani. I'm just keep it real with you. The Bible at the book of 2 Corinthians tells us explicitly, 3:17. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Freedom isn't government concession. It's literally a divine mandate. These people are not only brainless, these people aren't only spineless, these people are godless, and they will reap the fruits that the sowers of godlessness have planted. They will reap exactly what they're sowing. Everyone you look at on the internet is like, man, just wait. Just wait. Because that's literally all you got to do. Just wait. Wait. This time next year, mark my words today, this time next year, New Yorkers, the ones who work jobs, the ones who go out and work for what they want, they will literally be crying at what Zohran Mamdani is doing to that city. They will be crying about what Zohran Mamdani is doing to that city, and they're already feeling it. Many of them are already feeling it. And you have people getting on the internet. Yeah, he's doing a great job. Bro, most of these people praising Zohran don't even live in New York. Most of these people don't even live in New York. These people literally live in other cities and are praying that Zohran Mamdani comes, those type of policies come to our city. Here's the catch. These policies that Zohran Mamdani is introducing, they've already been introduced in other cities and they've already failed. So why are you looking at this dude? He's telling you, this is what I'm going to do. It was already done in Chicago. It was already done in Seattle, right? Washington. It failed miserably. Why are you getting excited about failed ideas? Ideas that didn't work in those cities and they won't work in New York. LA is a lot of things. But I'm telling you, there is no politician who's proposing this crap in LA. Because LA already has been through this. The city of LA has already been destroyed. You know, I live out here in LA County. The city of LA has already been destroyed by these types of policies. The city of LA has already experienced the mass exodus of industry because of these policies. Why do you keep pretending that these people are offering you something new when this is old? This is already tried. It's already tired. It's used up. What I'm going to do for you guys right now is I'm going to play a little bit of this speech. We're going to go through this speech, actually. We're going to go through this speech, and we're going to listen to what Zohran Mamdani is saying. And I want you to tell me the parts where he talks about your liberty, where he talks about your history, where he talks about your proud lineage as an American. Let me know. Stop me when he shows a little bit of gratitude for the opportunities that this country has given to him. Because what I was taught, if somebody ain't got no damn gratitude, then you don't need to be around them. You don't come into this country and disrespect after you've reaped the benefits. And anybody who celebrates or votes for someone like that, guess what? You're going to get exactly what you're voting for.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. Season after season, year after year, the tides have come in and out of New York Harbor. Long before the name New York had ever been spoken, Lenape dugouts crossed these currents. It was on these waters that tall masts crested the horizon, captained by explorers like Verrazano and Hudson, after whom we've named our bridges and rivers. And ever since, ships full of travelers weary from long journeys have passed through the Narrows, the winds of the Atlantic at their backs.
See, the first thing I want to point out, notice that for him, America's history starts at immigration. For him, America ain't shit, wasn't shit until people started immigrating over here from other countries. Why didn't he start at 1776? Why didn't he start at the Revolutionary War? You could have at least skimmed over it real quick to get to the point of immigrants coming into this country. Just like that Haitian lady said when she was standing at that podium, and I could have slapped the damn taste out of her mouth when she said it. Immigrants built this country. No, they didn't. Immigrants contributed to this country greatly. I will say that. The Italians built the skyscrapers and all this stuff. But did immigrants build this country? Was this country nothing before they got here? They fled to this country because it was already from its inception better than where they were. America, within a couple of years, literally outclassed cities, countries, and civilizations that had been around for thousands. And it wasn't even that hard. That's how corrupt and inept they were.
When those passengers lifted their heads to glimpse what lies just beyond the waves, what did they see? They saw land, lush and teeming with life. They saw men waiting at the docks to take them into bondage. They saw tenements rife with squalor. They saw industry rumbling with activity, steam and smoke rising, a city on the move. They saw a towering monument to freedom, her torch glowing worldwide welcome.
This man said immigrants who came over here in the early 1900s, in the late 1800s, left the ship to be carried into slavery. Did you hear what this guy said? These immigrants fled to America to escape tyranny and abuse in their country. They already viewed America as the land of the free, and he's saying that they entered this country to walk into slavery. Do you know how disrespectful that is to people like African Americans who actually survived slavery in this country for over 400 years on this continent? Those European immigrants were not slaves. They were running away from their shitholes to come to America because it was a better place. And many of them were very racist when they got here. And I forgive them for that because they were just a product of their time. But how dare you disrespect the legacy of African Americans, Black Americans, FBA, whatever we want to call ourselves. How dare you disrespect our legacy to tell us that a white European came over here and was put into slavery and inhuman bondage? No, he wasn't. They came over here and were given jobs immediately in factories. They were literally accepted into unions. They were literally given jobs on police forces and everything damn near from the time they stepped foot on. They were given authority damn near from the time they stepped foot into this country. This dude is an absolute liar. And I believe this guy has some underlying racism. What you guys have to understand is Muslims had a larger slave trade than the Europeans ever could have imagined. And it went 4 times as long because it lasted over 1,000 years. They were no friend to Black people. And I believe that there are many Muslim people who still hold a little resentment for Black people. But they understand in order to get to gain access to the upper echelon of American politics, you are going to have some type of interaction or friendly relationship with Blacks, especially on the Democrat side. We are just a tool. Black people are just useful idiots for people like Zohran Mamdani. We're loud. We talk a lot of crap and people listen to us. We drive a lot of the culture in politics, music, and everything like that. This guy, I'm telling you, this guy, I believe, has a little bit of has some resentment for Black people. How dare you crap all over our legacy by calling European white folks saying they came over here into slavery?
They saw New York City. They saw America. Tomorrow, our nation marks 250 years since we declared our independence. 250 years of a grand experiment in self-governance. An experiment so audacious that some in 1776 doubted it would last more than a few years, let alone a quarter of a millennium. From Lexington to Los Angeles, Selma to Seneca Falls, Morrisania to Midwood, Americans will come together for a day, just as we do each year. Families will gather around the grill. Fireworks will fill the night sky. This will be no ordinary day of celebration. 250 years presents a rare opportunity for more than 340 million people to turn together, both towards one another and towards ourselves. to take measure of who we are as a nation. When we look at America, what do we see? Here at City Hall, as I sit behind George Washington's desk, alongside new Americans who came to this country, I cannot see all of America. But like so many who came before, I can see New York City. The city I see today looks very different than the one that greeted George Washington. In July of 1776, our city simmered under the yoke of oppression. The British had imposed a colonial rule so repressive that 250 years ago, 80 miles south, a small group of newspaper editors, farmers, and soldiers signed their names on a document declaring truths that feel self-evident now, but were revolutionary then, establishing the ideals our nation still strives to fulfill. The British did not take it well. What
were the ideals that our nation strived to fulfill? Free market capitalism, people having the freedom to do what they wanted to do without the tyranny of an oversized government trying to regulate and dictate them out of existence, basically putting them in a certain form of slavery. Everything that Zohran Mamdani represents goes against everything that the founding fathers represented. That's why you notice, even though he speaks, he'll never use a quote from one of our founding fathers. He will never go into the history of the American Revolution. I've been talking for 26 minutes. I already have quoted the founding fathers at least 3 times, quoted the Bible 1 time, and talked about the history of our nation. He can never do it because every fabric of our being as a country goes totally against what this guy is talking about. America's entire legacy is built on utterly crushing collectivist, socialist people like Zohran Mamdani. From the industrial fires of World War II to the final collapse of the Soviet Union, America has done battle with people who believed the same exact things that Zohran Mamdani believes. And we're better off for it. American liberty, free enterprise. It's conquered tyranny time and time again. Capitalism literally built skyscrapers, won global wars, and lifted billions of people out of poverty. Meanwhile, socialism, quote unquote, communism, because if you do any of the history, if you go research and learn your history, even the creators of communism said that the whole point of socialism is to introduce communism. They said socialism inevitably leads to communism. So you're like, I'm a democratic socialist. No, you are just an aspiring communist. You are on your way to communism. As you steal and take and the money runs out, you'll start stealing and taking more, and eventually you'll be Karl Marx. Eventually you'll be Trotsky. Eventually you'll be Chairman Mao Zedong. Eventually you'll be Joseph Stalin. This is the way it works. You don't just fall into it, you slide into it. Meanwhile, communism has a flawless, undefeated track record, right? Communism has a flawless, undefeated track record of what? Absolute failure. Everywhere it has touched, every country in which it has taken hold, from the Eastern Bloc of Europe to modern Europe, to its resurgence in modern Europe, it leaves behind nothing but breadlines, economic ruin, and human misery. Nothing but government regulation and theft, where your government becomes so large that it can steal from you, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing you could do about it. That's all they do. In the Bible, at the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 1, it warns us, stand fast, therefore, in what? Liberty, wherewith Christ has made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Why is this theme of liberty so pronounced not only in the Bible, but in almost every, well, no, not almost, in every single article of every single piece of literature written by not only our founding fathers, but anyone who happened to be present at the founding of this nation and beyond. Why is freedom this theme in America? Because that's what makes America great. The ability to be free enough to do what you want to do, to have autonomy to make decisions for yourself. But everywhere people like Zohran Mamdani raise their evil little heads, you are losing freedom. You can't use gas. You have to use electric everything starting in 2026. Why? Why? Because I want to save the environment, so you don't use gas. If you don't use it, if all the environmentalists who want to save the world stop polluting, reducing their fingerprint, things will be fine. But it's not good enough for them to want to do it. They have to find a way to force you to do it as well. They volunteer to be slaves. And just like Cicero said, a slave wishes not for freedom, but for a slave to have his own. So they offer themselves up to be slaves to communism and socialism, but it doesn't feel good unless they can make you a slave to their whims and wishes, whether it's against your will or not. If I agree to run my house, if I decide to run my house off of solar energy and wind, and I'm only able to keep my lights on for 4 hours a day, I want the guy across the street to only be able to run his lights for 4 hours a day. Well, why does he have to be restricted like you when you chose to do this? You impose these restrictions upon yourself. But that's the nature of people. Even if they voluntarily give something up, they want to force someone else to give it up too. Because they really want to, because they've already accepted that they can't compete and get to the head of the pack. So what they're doing, they're trying to slow down the race. They're going to slow down the race to force others to let them catch up. It's weak. These modern socialists want you to walk right back into chains. Socialism needs slavery. Go back to any culture that embraced socialism. And I am telling you, you will find two things: massive death via starvation and the enslavement by a government, the enslavement of a people by its own government. Stalin had the slave camps. Lenin had the slave camps. Chairman Mao had the slave camps. Russia had the slave camps. Go do your research. You will see everywhere socialism has touched, their slavery came not soon after.
Broke out. And that August, as the largest battle of the Revolutionary War unfolded in Brooklyn, batteries on Governor's Island took aim at British ships anchored just offshore. We were outgunned, we were outmanned, and we were soundly defeated. After only a few months, it appeared our fledgling attempt at democracy was on the precipice of collapse. But that night, with the moon overhead, thousands of our soldiers silently climbed into ferries and flat-bottom boats and escaped to Manhattan. The Continental Army survived to fight another day. Independence may have been declared in Philadelphia, but it was rescued in New York City. George Washington was the last to leave Brooklyn. As he waited at the river's edge, the sun beginning its rise, he would have looked out over New York City's waters and seen what so many have seen in the 250 years since: an opportunity to begin anew. Those opportunities, like everything in New York City, are not given. They are won. In 1838, 11 years after New York outlawed slavery, a recently emancipated black man by the name of James Weeks sought to begin anew as well, and to help hundreds of others do the same. He bought property in Brooklyn, won himself the right to vote, and sold lots to others newly freed. When they landed in New York Harbor, they knew they had something waiting for them that they had never had before: a home.
I want you guys to understand something. James Weeks, right? He bought lots in New York. And when people came into the country, did he give them away? Did he say, hey, we got socialism. Here you go. Here goes a nice plot of land for you to build on? See what I'm telling you? They can't even bring up one of our founding fathers. They can't even bring up anyone who did something substantial in America without pointing directly to free market capitalism. Imagine how James Week would have been inhibited from doing exactly what he did, the very thing that Zohran is praising right now, if someone like Zohran was running the city of New York at that time. Imagine if Zohran was running New York during the time of James Weeks and said, look, man, I want to give everybody free cooking oil. So now we got to raise the taxes on all this land you own so you can't even keep it. You got to sell it or the government going to take it over. Everything they say, as long as they dwell in America, every single example of America that they use will spit directly in the face of this socialist communism garbage that they're talking about. He didn't say James Weeks gave it away. He said he sold it. You know what it means when someone sells something? It means somebody had to buy something. You know what it means if somebody bought something? That means they had to work for something. How is somebody talking about giving away everything using someone who literally engaged in free market capitalism to empower other people as an example or as a reference? We're hearing it again.
Won himself the right to vote.
Tell us about the gun line, boss. Tell us about James Weeks, boss. Tell us how James Weeks used capitalism to empower people. How he used that good old free market to help immigrants coming into this country.
Seen what so many have seen in the 250 years since. An opportunity to begin anew. Those opportunities, like everything in New York City, are not given. They are won. In 1838, 11 years after New York outlawed slavery, a recently emancipated black man by the name of James Weeks sought to begin anew as well, and to help hundreds of others do the same. He bought property in Brooklyn, won himself the right to vote, and sold lots to others newly freed. When they landed in New York Harbor, they knew they had something waiting for them that they had never had before, a home. Weeksville still stands today, a living, breathing testament to what we know America to be, a place each of us has the power to make. The harbor was busy those years as ships poured in from around the world. Hundreds of thousands of Irish immigrants arrived with stomachs aching from a famine manufactured by imperial cruelty. Chinese sailors settled in what is today Chinatown. Millions more traveled under the Statue of Liberty and through Ellis Island. Jewish people escaping pogroms, Italians fleeing poverty, Syrians seeking economic opportunity. Each of these new arrivals peered through portholes onto a city that was changing as fast as the nation. They saw merchants peddling their wares on the docks, streets being laid out on a grid, buildings rising into the clouds.
I'll ask again. He said they saw merchants peddling or selling their wares, their products. Did he say they came in and merchants was just giving them stuff? Isn't it crazy how people left their country to come somewhere where they were going to have to work for everything they wanted and buy everything they needed? See, that's what freedom is. Whatever I work for, I'm able to go and reap the benefits of that work. Please tell me how someone who's advocating for free this, free that, free everything is using, American immigrants as a reference. Everything he says about people's immigration into America in the early 1900s and late 1800s goes directly against what he's saying. If America was being run by someone with the mindset of Zohran Mamdani, the immigrants would have never come here. They were literally running away from tyranny. They were literally running away from the type of environment that Zohran Mamdani is trying to create in New York right now. And guess what? What's similar? What is the parallel? What is the common theme here? What do we notice about New York now that he has taken over? People are fleeing New York the same way those immigrants fled Europe and Eastern Europe and China back in the early 1900s and late 1800s. They were running away from people like Zohran. And now all these years later, we have let the fox in the hen house because we've allowed the fox to get in the hen house because we mad at the dog for peeing on the carpet. That's what we're doing. You mad at Trump. So you gonna let the damn fox in the hen house to eat up all the chickens. Let's see where that's gonna get you.
They could not yet see the nativism they would face, the jobs they would be refused, the landlords who would not rent to them, and the abject labor and living conditions they would withstand. But no matter how much smog hung over the harbor, they still saw an opportunity to begin anew. Over the years that followed, despite laws enacted by the federal government to bar their entry, despite sweatshop fires that killed hundreds of women, despite riots aimed at their very existence, immigrants made homes here in New York City, and they helped to make New York City.
You know why? Because even dealing with all those things, they were still freer to do what they wanted to do in America, even with all the things they face, than they were in their country. Because many of their countries were overrun by socialism. Many of their countries were overrun by fascism, already being overtaken by communist values. The communists were rising in Europe in the early 1900s. This is when Lenin and all these guys, Trotsky and all these guys were coming up. So of course they left. But now communism is here. And just like they left, the people of New York are leaving. And I see people in the comments saying, oh, bad people are leaving New York. What the hell are you talking about? These are the type of small-minded people who think just because someone has more money than them, that person is bad. Well, you have more money than a bum or a hobo, so does that mean you're bad? Bad is not a dollar amount in your bank account. Because people with a lot of money who you call bad, they do a lot of good as well. You're just a hater. You're just a freaking loser who's jealous of someone else, so you're willing to tear everything down.
Legacy of every generation of Americans insisting that the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness extends to them too, is no relic of the past. It carried millions of Black Americans north during the Great Migration. It drew hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans to New York City after the Second World War. It invited countless others from the West Indies and South Asia and West Africa and across the world. And it is what brought my family to this city when I was 7 years old. My family did not arrive by boat, although we saw the Statue of Liberty from the window of the plane. Even from the air, we could...
Why didn't they go to Russia? Why didn't they go to Russia or Cuba or North Korea? Why didn't they just go China? Why didn't they go to China? Why didn't they go somewhere where socialism was ruling? Just the fact that you came to a country that operates its economy based on free market capitalism and didn't go to a socialist country should have been enough for you to see that socialism is a failure. Even his own life story, even the decisions his own parents made, tells you that this nonsense that he's trying to sell you does not work. I don't want to hear about socialism from somebody who benefited from capitalism. I want to hear about socialism from someone who came up under and became successful under socialism without using corruption, elitism, and nepotism. They can't tell you. You have to be absolutely stupid to listen to this guy. Hey, capitalism made me the man I am today, but I'm trying to sell you something that I've never even used or experienced. He's nothing but an ideologue. He's nothing but a high school kid who was never forced to deal with reality because his parents were multimillionaires.
Make out the promise of America, the promise of the beautiful patriotic work of rendering America, year after year, a little more faithful to its founding ideals. There is a term so often used.
He's going to render America more faithful to its founding ideas. Guys, the founding fathers would have lynched Zohran Mamdani. And they wouldn't have lynched him because of his skin color. They would have lynched him because he's speaking straight blasphemy. They would have immediately saw him as a threat to every single thing that they built and fought and shed blood for. There is no arguing again. There's no argument here. This is why when you argue with these socialists, what do they say? I don't want to have this conversation. Because their ideology can't even travel. It goes nowhere. It hits a dead end. Especially because they're not living under it.
To describe our nation and those who have shaped it. American exceptionalism. American exceptionalism, the conventional wisdom tells us, makes our freedom a little more free, is how we dug the Erie Canal and irrigated the West, is why children in faraway lands grow up dreaming of one day moving here. And yet the irony is that the story of America has so often been written by those who were told by others with power and influence and wealth that they were anything but exceptional. For generation after generation, we have been told that when the world has...
All the socialists are in the comments. Here goes the link. Mamdani, they're getting good things. Come up. Tell us about some of the good things you're getting. We know it's all a lie. We know it's all a lie. But come up and tell us. Here goes the link. I won't interrupt you. I'll listen to you. Explain to me how giving your city over to a communist is somehow going to benefit you.
Sent its people to our shores, it has not sent its best. It sent Puritans and Sikhs and Quakers and Muslims and Jewish people who were banished for praying the wrong way, worshiping the wrong gods, angering the wrong people. It sent peasants and serfs from slums and shtetls who were treated as less.
Isn't that exactly what his religion, Islam, is doing? He's literally trying to make America like the places that people fled. You literally had Muslims from the time he got into office literally trying to throw bombs at protesters. They literally tried to set off bombs in the middle of a peaceful protest because they didn't like the people or the beliefs of the people who were protesting. He is the very things he claims to condemn. And he knows he is. But he knows that the people that are following him, they can't be bothered with history. These people can't be bothered with facts. Facts make them feel bad, and they don't want to feel bad.
Because they hardly owned clothes, let alone land. It sent immigrants from whom power was something someone else had. We are told that America is exceptional because we are richer, stronger, more powerful than everyone else. The truth, my friends, is that America is exceptional because here, nothing is fixed into place. The frontier may be closed. We may have walked on the moon. But the work of fulfilling the values first enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, that work endures.
We may have walked on the moon. He mentions American accomplishments like it's no big deal, but he can't tell you what Muslim countries walked on the moon. He can't tell you what socialist country has walked on the moon. He can't tell you any of that. He can't tell you any of those things. He can't tell you any invention or any advancement in any field that the people who live under the system of government that he idolizes have made. He can't tell you. What have they invented in China? In the last 100 years, what have they invented of China that is of use to the world? Nothing. Nothing. He is a full-fledged socialist. And then you got this dude in denial. He isn't a full-fledged socialist. Yes, he is. The only thing stopping Mamdani from implementing full-fledged socialism is the few laws in America that fight against it. If it wasn't illegal to be a communist in this country, Mamdani would literally just come out and be like, yo, I'm a communist. He has to pretend not to be a full-fledged socialist because he knows if he comes out like, I'm a full-fledged socialist, it's going to scare you guys. It's going to scare you and you won't vote for him. So he just feeds it to you little by little because he knows you're done. You're like a rat. You see some cheese. You see the board. You know you never saw the board before. No one's ever left cheese out like this before, but you're still going to go try to grab it and get hit. Rat trap. Right? These people know how to play you. They know you're hyper emotional. So they come in, oh, you can't afford your rent. Oh, you can't afford your kids' daycare. Oh, that's messed up. Well, you know, if you vote for me, man, I'll go take the money from the rich guy and give it to you so your kid can get daycare for free. And you vote for it. All you can see is what you don't have. That is the curse that people who only see the things they don't have are under. Anyone who comes in offering you what you don't have, you'll support them without even thinking, mindlessly.
And it belongs to us all. It belongs to our newest Americans, those standing here with me today, all of whom were recently naturalized. Nearly a decade ago, I too felt what you feel, the joy of no longer being just a New Yorker, but an American too. You each hold a special power, the power to determine what America means. The powerful have always known their answer. America, in their view, is an arena of supremacy, where only a select few are allowed freedom, where not all are created equal. America, if you ask them, becomes less the more people it welcomes. America, they will tell you, belongs only to those with the right accent or the right shade of skin. The rest of us, they insist, should be grateful for merely being allowed to visit. How small they are, how weak, how unoriginal. At every moment in our past, those who led through exclusion and isolation have tried to win power and enrich themselves by turning us against one another. Division is the oldest trick in politics and the cheapest. But time and again, including 250 years ago, those forces of division have been vanquished by the forces of progress. As Thomas Paine once wrote, "This new world hath been the asylum for the persecuted lovers of civil and religious liberty. Hither have they fled." And yet today, too many of our leaders do not believe in a vision of this nation as an asylum for the persecuted, but rather as one that persecutes those seeking asylum. As we mark 250 years, what do we see? We see a city of contradictions within a nation of contradictions. We see the wealthiest country in the history of the world, one where children go to sleep hungry while the world's first trillionaire hungers for more. We see monopolies that dominate every industry and oligarchs who buy elections. We see masked agents terrorizing our streets, eating food cooked by our undocumented neighbors before spiriting them away in unmarked vans. We see
He must be talking about Antifa when he says masked agents.
a nation whose immense wealth has been built by those with calloused, dirt-streaked hands, those who toil on factory floors and chisel into stone. And we see a nation that has allowed so much of that wealth to be held instead in the soft hands of a precious few. Yes, we see America in a health insurance industry that exploits the sick, but that is not all we see when we look for America. We see it too in the nurse.
So this guy says, oh, all the wealth is held in the hands of the select few. I'm telling you, how can people be dumb enough to fall for this? All of America's wealth is not held in the hands of a select few. The very existence of a stock market, the very existence of Wall Street literally shows you that America's wealth is held by millions upon millions of Americans. Every single multi-billion dollar company, you can become part owner of it. It's called buying stocks. It's called the stock market. It's called investment. How if I own 5 shares of Tesla stock, right? That means I own 5 shares of the company. I own a piece of the company. So if Elon Musk takes Tesla past the $1 trillion mark, I get richer. They keep trying to tell you, well, they're not even telling you, they're preying on your ignorance. We have a lot of Americans who are very smart and intelligent, but we also have a lot of Americans who are dumb. No, if a billionaire becomes a trillionaire because his company is doing well, that means that he's made many people millionaires. He's made many other people billionaires. That means that people have had so much faith in his company that they've invested in his company, which is giving him money and driving up the value of the company, which is driving up his net worth. Do you guys want? Is there any way I can explain it to you more simpler? If you have a lemonade stand, right? You at that moment are worth the value of that lemonade stand. Whatever the lemons cost, whatever the water costs, whatever the stand, the actual table costs, in the little awning or tent over you costs. That is that is the net worth of your company. But if I come by and say, man, this is some really good lemonade. I think you can do big things with this lemonade. And I say, man, you know what? I want to help you open up a storefront. And then I take $100,000 and give it to you, invest it in your company so you can open up a storefront and hire a couple of employees, guess what? Your net worth has increased because the value of your business has increased. But guess what? If I enter into the business as an investor, right? And you go keep running your business and you're having success making profits, guess who else is getting rich? Me. And then 10 more people come in and say, you know what? We want to invest and we want to open 10 franchises of this lemonade spot. You know who gets richer? I do. You know who gets richer? They do. You know who gets richer? You do, as the owner of the lemonade business. Now, would it be fair for us to say, oh, look, the owner of the lemonade business, yeah, he made $100,000 this year. He just getting rich. He ain't sharing with nobody. No, because if he or she made $100,000, that means everybody who invested made $10,000 or $5,000 or $20,000. We all came up. And everybody who invests in the future will become richer as the value of the company or product grows. So how is he saying, oh, the wealth of the country is held in the hands of a few elite? No, it's not. The wealth of this country is held by millions and millions of Americans. Even with the debt of this country. You know, they always say Japan owns the majority of the American debt, right? They always say, oh, China owns most of the American debt. That's a goddamn lie. Do you know who owns most of America's debt? The American people. That's who owns the majority of America's debt. We do. It's just dispersed between so many millions of people. Everybody individually doesn't seem to have a big share of it. You don't know how economics work. And because you don't know how economics work, you make yourself an easy target for someone like Zohran to come in and lie to you. You want to be able to afford daycare? Before you even had kids, you should have invested your money in a company into the S&P 500. If you're young and you have no kids now, go take $1,000 and put it in the S&P 500. If you're 19 years old and you plan on having kids when you're 30, by the time you have those kids, you will be able to pull out enough money from that S&P every year to pay for your children's daycare, or at least reduce the cost significantly. But Zohran's not teaching. He's not like Trump. Trump teaches you how to use the American system to your benefit. People like Zohran, they want to keep you in the dark because that benefits them. They benefit from your ignorance, your lack of knowledge and understanding of how your country actually works.
Who works a double shift and then stops on our way home to check on an ailing neighbor. Yes, we see America in corporate landlords for whom negligence is a business model. We see it, too, in the father who tucks his children into bed beneath a ceiling stained with leaks, who wakes before dawn to go to work and still believes his country can do better by his family. Yes, we see America when we spend our tax dollars on bombs and bailouts, when we sell our elections to the highest bidder. Yet we see it just as clearly in every American who still believes this country belongs to we, the people. We see America each time neighbors link arms with neighbors, without asking how long they have lived here or what papers they have, as ICE invades our neighborhoods. We see America each time those young and old stand in the beating rain or the stifling heat to cast their ballots. We see America each time working people demand more, not just for themselves, but for their fellow Americans. There are some who respond to those who ask for more from America with a simple refrain: love it or leave it, they say. But patriotism has never been about pretending our nation is without flaws. Patriotism is every act of righteous dissent. It is every march led under the heavy sun. It is every protest held a decade before its time. It is precisely because we love this nation that we will not leave it. After all, who loves America more than those who have sacrificed so much to make it free? Today, I think not only of the 4th of July, I think too of the 9th of July. 5 days after the Declaration of Independence was signed, it arrived here in our New York City. Redcoats had disembarked on Staten Island. More than 100 British ships loomed just offshore. Across this city, the Continental Army prepared for an invasion. George Washington commanded his brigades to assemble just a few feet from this building. It was known then as the Commons. Today, we call it City Hall Park. There, within range of British guns, Washington ordered his generals to read the Declaration aloud. And with the world's mightiest empire poised to attack, Washington told the people of New York City what we will celebrate tomorrow, that we had declared our independence, that freedom was within reach. That evening, danger loomed. Conflict was not a question, but a certainty. And yet when those early New Yorkers marched toward the statue of King George III that stood in the Bowling Green, a statue they would melt down into bullets for their young army, they walked in unison, grounded not in the pursuit of plunder, but in ideals that for the first time had a name: America. Those ideals upon which our nation was built, they are strong enough to endure any authoritarian regime, but only if we reach for them. Ours is a nation working each day towards the perfection in which it was conceived, a nation striving each day to better itself. Therein lies the work of America.
The guy literally said our nation is working towards the perfection in which it was achieved or perceived, right? Or whatever. If you're saying that America was basically built, let me get the language he used. Let me go back a little bit, because this guy's a walking contradiction.
Each day towards the perfection in which it was conceived.
Right. So if it was conceived in perfection, why are you trying to literally change America at a foundational level? Why are you literally here trying to say, nah, guys, the founding fathers got it wrong. We need to copy failed Russia. We need to copy failed Mao in China. We need to copy failed North Korea. We need to copy failed Cuba and every other failed communist/fascist state on earth. What do you mean? He said it was literally conceived in perfection. Everything this guy says in reference to the founding of this country flies directly in the face of the nonsense that he's trying to sell you.
A nation striving each day to better itself. Therein lies the work of America. The striving, the bettering, the reaching towards perfection. What a privilege each of us has to live in a nation that every one of its inhabitants can shape. What a responsibility each of us possesses to prove ourselves worthy of all those who came before. What power each of us holds to bring America ever closer to the greatness so many have seen when they looked upon these shores. The greatness that for 250 years has been America. Thank you. God bless America. God bless New York City. And happy 4th of July.
Yeah, this guy is literally trying to gaslight. This guy hates the founding fathers. This guy hates America. He literally only is doing this speech because he has to as the mayor of New York City. But everything about socialism is really based on a logical fallacy, right? And the inability of the modern socialists to see that is absolutely amazing. They claim they want to protect the working class, right? Yet their policies actively punish the working class to subsidize utopian delusions. When Zohran Mamdani needed money to try to implement his free childcare initiative, did Zohran go after the rich for that? No, he didn't. He went into the retirement funds of New York City workers. He then took out a huge loan from the state of New York. We're still waiting for Zohran to take the money from the rich and give it to the poor. But he can't do that because the rich are leaving. That's the issue. Understand that. Look at the reality of this whole situation. Mamdani wants to give grand progressive lectures on global progress, but his own Green New Deal regulations are literally melting New York City right underneath his feet. He's at the point where he has to beg people to lower their thermostat, to turn up their thermostat, right? So that the city's power grid won't fail. Where's the freedom in that? Where's the progress in that? Just let me know. While elite commercial real estate stays fully illuminated, right? The big buildings They don't got where all the rich people live. They're not having to lower anything. Mamdani is coming down on the poor. The poor people have to lower their thermostat. He's actively begging everyday New Yorkers to bring their thermostat to 78 degrees in the middle of a heat wave, because his socialist policies cannot maintain basic first world infrastructure. That is why everywhere you go where socialism either is or has once existed, it looks like you're going back in time. There is no cohesion. There's no cohesion between modernity and socialism. You will be living in the past. It's the ultimate contradiction that nobody wants to call out. They promise you heaven. They deliver scarcity. They tell you to accept the managed decline of your city. They tell you, hey, we're going to take your city downhill very slowly, but we'll make sure to throw you a couple of freebies while we're doing it. Everyone who voted for Zohran Mamdani right now, deep down inside, they're scared. They're not going to tell you they're scared, but they're scared because he's been in office for almost half a year and nothing is changing. He hyperinflated the budget. He has to beg the state for money. He had to raise the property taxes on middle-class New Yorkers, pilfer the retirement fund of city workers, and the rich people that he swore he was going to take from and give you everything, they're gone. They're leaving. And what people are doing to deal with this is they're attacking Donald Trump. Because attacking Donald Trump is going to make your life better in New York City. Your mayor is shitting on you. And because you're trying to, in your way of your coping mechanism is to bash the president. Donald Trump warned you. He endorsed the other guy. But you knew better. You know better. And your pocket is going to know better. Those beads of sweat on your forehead are going to let you know that you were actually wrong. Zohran Mamdani is not he doesn't represent any aspect of America. He represents failed states, communist USSR, North Korea. That's what he represents. Mao Zedong's communist China. That's what he represents. He's just trying to piggyback on capitalism. He's trying to use the opportunities that capitalism has given him as a weapon to destroy capitalism. And it's not going to work. We going to get out here and party. We going to eat this damn barbecue tomorrow. And we're going to thank God for blessing us with the good fortune to be born in the greatest country in the history of the world. And those people who believe like Zohran, let them sit in their slum apartment in New York and eat sardines and crackers for the 4th of July, because you get what you vote for. You get what you vote for. I don't feel sorry for these people at all. Not one bit. Guys, real quick, we have some super chats we got to get to. My brother Kama Classical came with the $10 holler. Is it okay to be bitter? I mean, I guess. I don't see why not. Be bitter. Be bitter, my brother. Hit me up, though, bro. If you need to talk about something, hit me up. You got my email. You got my number. Then another from my brother, Kama Classical. A $20 holler. Have you ever been bitter? I know Zohran Mamdani's bitter. I know the people of New York are bitter. That's why they're trying to attack the people with money. The people who actually create jobs in New York and drive the city. Make the city a place people want to go. Being bitter has never really helped any situation. Right? John Cash, man, let me get you out of here. I don't know why. Dude, let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys something. You could say anything you want to me, right? But here's my issue with these socialists and these Trump haters. They will justify any wrongdoing by trying to deflect over to, oh, the Epstein files, and this person is a pedophile, and this, that. Listen, there's nothing we can do about that stuff. So I'm supposed to let Zohran Mamdani reamed me economically because someone's a pedophile? I'm supposed to let Zohran Mamdani put me in an economic headlock because someone's a pedophile or someone was in the Epstein files. Do you know how immature and stupid these people sound? What you gonna feed your kids when you got no money? Your kid, daddy, we hungry. Well, you know, son, Jeffrey Epstein is a predator. Trump was in the Epstein files. This is childish. This is childish. If you have some information about the Epstein files that no one else has, deliver it to law enforcement so they can file charges against Donald Trump. Because clearly he hasn't been charged because they have no evidence against him. So if you got some unique understanding, I'm sure I've done more research on the Epstein files than many of you. But that's all they got. Guys, these people cannot tell you, they cannot engage in a discussion about how socialism is going to benefit New York. They can't do it. So they have to deflect. We're talking about socialism and how it's going to destroy the economy of New York. Man, I know it is. I know he's right. So let me bring up Epstein for shock value. That's all they can do. Look, are you stupid? Oh, you need to go. These people are idiots, guys. They cannot explain why they support this. No one's making anything up. I've given you guys the link. I've given you, the opportunity to come up and disprove me, and you can't. You can't. You can't disprove me. You can't disprove free market capitalism. You're hateful and jealous because you don't want to work hard. And you will suffer for that. Your children will suffer for that. No one's going to give you crap. You will either work or you will starve. Well, we do have a lot of charity in this country, so you won't starve. But there was someone in the comments who was dumb and said, man, China used over 500 gigawatts of solar last year, and the United States barely used 50. So I went to the internet, because you got all these people talking about China and this solar shit. They don't realize China's lying to you. China lies. They lie about how much solar energy they're using because they can write anything down in a newspaper. There's no one to go vet it. China's not going to come let you inspect their solar plants so you can make sure that they're doing what they say they're going to do. They can't do it. They're not going to do it because they're lying to you. China will tell you we're building a new spaceship. They'll have something that look like a spaceship out there, but you'll never see it take off. That's what they do. Deception, just like Iran. But I want to point this out to you. I said, what is China's primary source of energy? Their number one source of energy is dirty coal. Coal is China's primary source of energy, accounting for approximately 52 to 55% of the country's primary energy consumption and serving as the foundation of its energy system. While coal provides the majority of primary energy and roughly 60% of its electricity generation, it is increasingly supplemented by oil. They thought I was going to say solar and renewables, right? So the coal is its primary, and then what is supplement that is oil, the second largest source, and that's the second largest source of its energy, oil. So this country that y'all sitting up saying, oh my God, they're running the game when it comes to renewable energy and solar panels and all this stuff, right? Bro, they're still using primarily dirty coal, which is really bad for the environment. And what they're not doing with coal, they're doing with oil. And then and renewable isn't even third. It just says that they're rapidly expanding renewable energy sources such as wind and solar and hydropower. But the reality is they're not expanding that. They're pretending that they're using that so they can sell that bullshit to other countries. That is it. Ooh, look, this is how much we generated with renewables. They're liars. I don't trust the Chinese as far as I could throw them. They're liars. What they're actually using when they're not using coal and oil is the same things every other logical thinking country on earth is using. natural gas, right? Oil and coal. This is their top three. Coal, that's half of that's how they generate half their energy. Then the second, oil, which is 20%, less than 20%, and then natural gas, which brings in the other 10%. And renewables are growing from a lower base. Guys, I don't know about you, but China has supposedly been growing renewables since I was a kid. So it's taken them all these decades to grow their renewable energy to the point where they can run their country on it. No, it's not. They're never going to run the country on renewables. They're never going to do it. It's all a ploy to sell you solar panels and windmills. That's it. Let me get this super chat before I let Miss Berry speak. Comma Classical. I don't give a F. I'm ready to join the Marines and get out here to fight for something. Ain't shit else to do. Go ahead, my brother. Handle your business. I encourage you. Go. Hey, man, the military is the cheat code from what I'm learning now. The military is the absolute cheat code because they doing mostly everything with drones and shit. You'll just be sitting on an LPD, not doing shit. All right, Miss Berry, what's up, my sister? Go ahead. Unmute your microphone.
Yeah. Hi. I was just, hi, Brandon. Happy Independence Day.
Happy Independence Day to you.
I was just calling in to say that none of those newcomers looked happy to be here in the background on Mamdani's little speech.
Mamdani. Nah, yeah, that was all optics, man. These people, they don't care about America.
They look so mad, like angry. They didn't look happy. Usually when you see the people who get their citizenship, like they get their little flags and they wave it and they're so happy. These people, they look mad as hell.
Those people used to be happy because it's like say you play sports and the coach puts you in a game. You like, hell yeah, I got in the game. I'm ready to play. They're not here to play in the game. They're here to get welfare. They're here to see what they can steal from the American people without having to work for it. These new age immigrants, they ain't like the old immigrants. These new immigrants, the old immigrants come in and start trying to fill out a job application. These new immigrants, they come in and go straight to the welfare office.
The illegals, yes.
Right.
They got first dibs.
Bro, they look so depressed. They look like, what the hell is this guy talking about? They don't resonate. Nothing about who they are resonates with the spirit of America. They come here 100%, Jason, like Ilhan Omar. They come here with resentment against America because they're still holding on to that old mindset where they've been taught, oh, America's the reason for your suffering. America caused Iran to be a third world crap hole. No, it didn't. Iran wanting to have a nuclear weapon and sponsor terrorism is what caused Iran to be in the shape that it's in. Because, in the third world, there's no accountability. There's no difference between a person in the third world and a person in the hood in America. People who literally have no accountability. The people who do have accountability in the third world, they end up making a life for themselves, and many of them are able to get the hell out of there, right? They go somewhere and they become successful. But these people are looking at America as the source of their problem. But they won't leave America.
Yeah.
Zohran Mamdani talk about how bad America is all damn day, but he won't leave this bitch though.
Exactly.
His parents came here. They could have took him to Europe. They could have took him to Australia. They could have took him to a million places, but they took him here. And that alone should be enough to shut this dude up and make him a cheerleader for America.
Yeah, they had him over there on Epstein Island. So he part of the plan. This whole thing is crazy.
My thing is, you got people talking about Trump and Epstein Island, but sitting up cheering for Sharia law to come into their city. You want to talk about predators? Stop it. We're not even going to play these games. Let me get this super chat. Paint Code. Thank you so much for the $19.99 super chat. Happy 4th. Happy 205th. And God bless. God bless you, my brother. Thank you for the contribution. Guys, I'm really excited about the 4th of July. I literally fasted for 2 days just so I could enjoy this barbecue tomorrow, man. I'm about to go pick up some of my favorite barbecue for the fam, and we going to sit down and we going to eat good. But I'm only doing barbecue, salad, and ice cream. That is I'm having one nice helping portion of that, and I'm done for the day. I'm gonna fast all the way to 4 o'clock tomorrow and enjoy barbecue, Caesar salad, and ice cream. I already got it lined up. You know what I'm saying, Miss Berry? Where'd Miss Berry go? She out there in Carolina. But guys, actually,
No, I'm out here in Virginia. I'm close to DC, and I'm considering driving up there to make it go down, make it real tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Make it real. I was gonna go during the day, but it's so damn hot. So I might have to go experience the fireworks and all that. You know what I'm saying? The Donald said he gonna speak. Oh, I never been to Cali. Oh, Cali?
You gotta come. You gotta come visit us. You gotta come visit us.
I never been to Cali. Going.
It's going up tomorrow in Huntington Beach though. On the pier on Main Street, right on the water. They having a whole America 250th. You know, in Huntington Beach, it's all it's all Republicans.
I have I can't even. The only thing I know about California is, I'm gonna be honest with you, boys in the hood. Like that's my idea of California. I ain't gonna stunt. I ain't gonna hold you.
That's wild. Boys in the hood is crazy. Hey, nah, it's
just
way
like
better
little houses and bars on the window, people wailing.
Not boys in the hood.
That's just what I see when I think of Cali. Like, cause I've never been. You know what I'm saying? So that's like my only thought of like what it might look like. But I gotta get there. I know there's palm trees everywhere.
Listen, man, we
like
ain't
Florida.
We're not in that part of Cali. We are in LA County. We are about 12, 13 minutes from LA, but we are in the nice area. We ain't in the hood no more. You feel what I'm
so
saying?
You in the burbs. I never the only burbs I ever seen in Cali is like when I used to watch The Hills with Spencer and Heidi and them and LC and what else? It's another one. It was the Black people. They had like a little enclave out there. I forgot what the name of it is, but that's what I know about.
You talking about Baldwin Hills?
Baldwin Hills.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that shit ain't even that nice. It ain't even that nice over there.
I'm saying that's cool. That's my idea of the burbs in Cali. So that's just what I know from seeing it. That's just like people who see America on TV and they have their own idea of what it is until they get there. So I have to go visit.
Facts. No, I feel you 100%. Yeah, you definitely we are like, what I would say is, if I could show you, so we like in these type of areas. This is where we stay. See, water and shit.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
See, yeah,
palm trees and things. Ooh, it's so blue and beautiful.
Yeah, we not in the hood.
Oh yeah, and surfing.
Yeah,
in Cali.
We at the beach. Yeah, we on the beach. So
yeah, that's very pretty.
So we don't boys in the hood, it ain't like that. We gonna be having a good time. We gonna be going to brunch and shit. Just, you gotta come hang out. You gotta come. I'm coming to Cali. In Cali with us. You're gonna be like, this is nice. This is nice. My cousin came out here. He was so happy. He had so much.
How long it take to fly to Cali? I never even
from New York?
considered.
From New York, like From where?
I come
Carolina?
from either Atlanta. I probably fly out of Atlanta because
5
Atlanta
hours.
is a little
About 5
cheaper to
hours.
fly out of.
Yeah, about 5 hours.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
That's a lot, but that's not too bad.
not yet. No, it's cool, man. We're in nice areas. You ain't got to worry about no
Okay.
drama or nothing like that. But yo, you said boys in the hood. I'm crying.
I'm sorry. I don't mean no disrespect. I promise.
No.
So
I
all the
mean, shit.
Cali
I'm not
dudes
offended.
and all the Cali ladies. My bad.
Listen.
What you
I'm
think
not
about
offended at all.
when you hear Brooklyn?
Brooklyn.
Shit.
I think of the movie a Brooklyn. What is it? A Bronx Tale? I think about all
A
these
Bronx
movies.
Tale.
I don't know.
No.
What's in Brooklyn shit? The
Crooklyn.
Brooklyn Nets. Crooklyn. Okay, I saw that movie.
Yeah, that's old school Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But
We
it's
out here
still
walking.
semi like it still kind of looks like that, but in this day and age.
Okay, so it's a little bit more modern.
Yes.
Nah, that's what's up. Hey man, that's what's up. But yeah, we out here. We walking our dogs and shit, you know.
Okay.
Rolling.
All right.
We got our dog areas and
well.
It's good out
I
here,
gotta
man.
come visit Cali. I want to see it, the whole of America, because I would love to just travel this country and experience it because this country is beautiful.
This is Long Beach right here. This is like you ain't gonna get shot. You're gonna be good. Nice stuff, nice people. But yeah, we ain't doing no boys in the hood no more. That shit's done. Now you gotta go to a certain section to get that shit. You gotta get shot.
Yeah, with the flipping the switches and all that. I wanna see that in real life.
I'll take you. I'll take you. Just come like when you gonna be here on a Sunday. I'll take you where they doing all that. I'll take you to the hood. You won't get shot. You'll be having fun. But look, I'm about to go watch this.
I know.
Yeah, I look out for you. My boy, Common Classical. Let me get you real quick. Dang.
You hanging up now? I missed your show.
I gotta go watch this George Washington movie. It start actually at 8.
Oh.
But I live like 2 or 3 minutes away from the movie theater, so I can leave at the time when the movie start and get there while the previews are still playing.
Okay, it is okay.
Common Classical, is it correct that civilization usually falls at 250 years? I'm eating on a tomahawk steak right now. I'm from the East Coast these days. I mean, some people say that, but I just think it depends on the civilization. Do I think America will fall after 250 years? No, because with Americans are so spoiled and they've been made so comfortable. I think if you do anything that's going to drastically change their standard of living, it'll be like a reset and people will become they'll go back extremely conservative. That's what's happening in the UK right now. They allow bullshit to happen for like a couple of terms, and now they're going extremely in the opposite direction. And America's going to do the same thing. I mean, you already saw the shift happening with Trump's election. Kamala Harris lost in a landslide. People forget that. And those people, though they may not be happy with Donald.
I'm so grateful. Thank you, Jehovah, for that. I'm grateful that lady did not win because, oh my goodness, right now, the way it is, can you imagine what it would be if she, oh my goodness, give thanks.
And the people who, even if they're not happy about some of the things that Trump has done, those people, the Democrat Party is not showing enough, in my opinion, for those people to say, okay, we're going to vote Democrat now. And with the recent losses of Democrat candidates to socialists and communists, I think that's going to push people even more towards the Republicans and the conservatives because Americans don't know, like pain.
Brandon, because a lot of people are apathetic. They won't even fuck with it. They'll be like, fuck it. Like,
well, if they don't vote, guess what? We win.
Prayerfully.
When the people who don't vote are Democrats. When they're not happy, they just don't vote. Conservatives pretty much always show up. But here's the thing. Americans do not like pain. Americans do not like dealing with anything that is going to make them uncomfortable. And what the socialists and the communists don't tell you is you're going to have to deal with a lot of pain to create a socialist society. It literally starts with
And this is where I'm kind of glad that New York, although not everybody from New York is in New York, there's still New Yorkers there who ain't having that shit. You understand? So I really hope that this is like a slap in the face. Wake up.
Yeah, they're realizing it. Once Zohran pretty much sealed his fate once he raised those people's property taxes when he was only in office for like 3 months. And especially, with the thing he did with the city workers and their retirement fund. I think he's a one-term mayor, and I think he's gone after this. You can get the high school and college kids excited, but if they don't get what they want in relatively quick fashion, they're going to abandon this dude. That's why he's working so hard to make it look like he's doing what they want. Like, let me ask you a question. You know how he was saying he was going to do the free childcare, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But I heard that's only for 2-year-olds. So I heard
he did say 2.
Yeah. So the child care is only for one. The free child care is only for 1 year.
I think it's all just some bullcrap. That's just to put some bread in their little you know what I'm saying, like the Leering Center. Cause that sounds like some dumb shit. 2 years old. It should be early childhood education. If you want to make it free, you could do it from the time they start daycare till they get ready to go to elementary school, kindergarten.
So it says, while the flagship 2K program specifically provides free child care for 2-year-olds in New York City, the plan announced by Mamdani and Governor Kathy Hochul includes several other components. So it's going to initially start off being for 2-year-olds, and then it's going to incorporate 3-year-olds. But ultimately it ends with 3-year-olds.
Bull crap.
So what are you going to do for the rest of it? So when the kid's first born, when the kid's 1, then the kid's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after 2 years, you're screwed. This is BS, man.
He's offering stuff that they don't even need. Like, they don't need that.
There's so much subsidized health child care.
In New York, there's plenty, yes. There's plenty of ways. Even if you have a job and you make good money, you could get help with your child care because it's expensive. You just find like the city, not city owned daycares, but like people who get paid by the city, basically. Because I looked for in-home care. I sent my baby with grandma kind of people. I didn't put her
like crystal stairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't put her in like a center. I didn't put her in a center. Right, something like that where you take them to somebody's house and you know what I mean?
And they get paid to watch your kid. Yeah, of course.
They get paid to take care of your children.
Yeah. So the whole thing
and they only have a certain amount of children.
Everything has fine print. And when this stuff is actually rolled out, you're going to start seeing the limitations. And when people start seeing that they're not even qualified to receive some of the stuff, they're going to get pissed off. Because when you
a lot of things are happening, people are either leaving or they're going to end up dead because they're going to bug out. Like, that's going to turn ugly in New York. That's going to get real ugly. And it's a lot of people from other places that, in America, we be done punched you in your motherfucking face. Out in Zimbabwe, wherever the fuck they from, them niggas be done chopped your motherfucking head off.
Yeah.
Shit is crazy.
Look,
Excuse my French. I'm sorry.
No, I said this on my last show. I said, no one gets more violent than people who realize that they've been manipulated against their own best interest. They and that's what's going on here. Zohran came in, free this, free that, free this. But guess what? Nothing in America is free. You have to pay the cost.
No.
And that's why he's beefing with the governor right now. The governor's like, dude, you tripping.
The governor trying to get rehired. No, she's trying to get rehired. You understand? So what she doing is trying to play both sides of the fence.
Oh, 100%.
But really, she going to end up in her face in the mud, regardless, whether she win or not.
I heard the lady she running against is like a really strong candidate. So she's like,
it's a guy that she's running against.
I
And
thought it was
first
the
of all,
girl.
no, the Republican I'm talking about. The Republican
No,
is a man.
the Republican's a girl.
Please look into that, because I could have sworn it was a man. I don't know his name. No, the Republican is a man, I think. But what I'm saying is she barely got that job, because Cuomo, he dropped out. He left. He quit. Right?
Oh,
And then she became governor.
Elise Stefanik withdrew from the race. So that was at
first. Yeah, she was going to run.
Yeah, that was the person who they said was going to beat Kathy Hochul, but she withdrew from the race for whatever reason. Yeah, you're right. So it's Bruce Blakeman.
Blakeman, yes, he's a businessman.
Let me get this. Liberal white women have destroyed the country. What do you think? Oh, that's 100%. 100%. Because when it boils down to it, that's the only person who benefits from any of this stuff. Because
and then people supposed to be scared of them. Like, fuck out of here. I will slap the shit out of one of them bitches.
If you don't have any tangible benefits, then you're just doing it for like the feel good aspect, and that's what they do.
They walk around trying to look like men and stuff. Get out of here.
Crazy. But I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you, Miss Berry, for hopping up. I gotta go watch George Washington for this 8 o'clock show.
Okay, enjoy the movie.
I will. I'm gonna watch our founding father when he was a treacherous red coat.
Yes.
See, I like. Oh my God. But thank all y'all for watching this. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do. Trump, whoever's supposed to speak right here. I don't know if it's Trump or who, but he hasn't spoke yet.
Peace to everybody. Happy Independence Day.
I'm a skip Trump, and I'm gonna listen to George Washington. So thank all y'all for being here. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, please take care of yourselves, but most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.